Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back again. It's Bill here with another edition of FilmHook. I just want to tell you, I have seen the film this year which I have had more fun at than any other movie. I'm talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the brand new movie from Marvel, directed by James Gunn, who directed Slither. It's starring Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, it's starring Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, Bautista. I mean, the cast is absolutely fantastic here. We've also got, Lee Pace as Ronan the Accuser, Karen Gillan, not sure about that. But the movie itself, anyway, let's get into it. Guardians of the Galaxy. As I said, the most fun I've had in the cinema all year so far. The movie starts off with Peter Quill, played by Chris Pratt, also known as Star-Lord. We're in around the year 1988. He is unfortunately going through some family troubles, and following this, he gets abducted. We fast forward 26 years and we're on the planet Morag, where Star-Lord, also known as Peter Quill, is looking for an orb, and Jimon Hunsu, who is one of the henchmen of Ronan the Accuser, who's the main antagonist, in the movie, captures him, and fun and games ensue. One of the great things about this movie is that from the outset, this movie shouldn't work at all. We're talking about, we've got Bradley Cooper, who's doing the voice of Rocket Raccoon, who is a psychotic, sort of aggressive, emotionally challenged raccoon. We've got Vin Diesel, who's voicing a talking tree, who essentially can only say, "I am Groot," in a surprisingly broad range of ways, I have to say. You're talking about a lot of characters who, most people won't know of. They're within the Marvel universe. They've been around for sort of, a number of years, but most people won't actually know. And so in some ways it probably is a bit of a gamble for Marvel. But I have to say, on, viewing the film, you'd never think that. So as I said, this film probably shouldn't work. But from the opening couple of minutes, from the opening music number, yes, I said music number, you know exactly what you're in for. This is an action comedy. Okay, so you've got two things here. You could say it's an action film, you could say it's a comedy, you could say it's an amalgamation of the two. I'll probably go with an amalgamation because it is absolutely brilliant. The jokes come thick and fast. It is so self-referential. At one point, Peter Quill is walking along, he's talking about the orb, and he's kind of says, oh, this is like, kind of a Lost Ark of the Covenant, Maltese Falcon kind of thing. That whole kind of MacGuffin thing that, like, you've got something, it doesn't really sort of advance the plot in any way, or it doesn't particularly mean anything, but I love how self-referential this movie is. This movie looks like it's a movie which is made by sort of, geeks and nerds, of which I am one, so don't leave any nasty comments about geeks and nerds, because I love geeks and nerds. I totally am one. Like, look at all this, okay? James Gunn recently put a thing up on Facebook thanking everybody, for, I suppose, a lot of sort of, going, their love and stuff and going to the movie. And he basically said that, like, he got to make the movie that he wanted to make. And it's so obvious. The movie looks absolutely incredible. There's some great green screen work in relation to this. The writing is impeccable. The comedy timing is absolutely fantastic. Chris Pratt, sir, I salute you. You are fantastic. I'd only seen him briefly in Parks and Recreation and briefly in Delivery Man. And this film, he makes his own. Between this and Jurassic World next year, this guy, his star is in the ascendant. He's absolutely fantastic. Zoe Saldana is excellent. She's very strong female presence, which is really, really important. Rocket Raccoon is fantastic, and Groot, who are the two real sort of heart of the movie. Bautista is, very good as sort of deadpan, very literal thinking, Drax the Destroyer. They come together and realise that, in order to sort of get what they all want, they have to work together. And all the comedy really sort of ensues from the interactions between them. There is sort of, the bad guy in this is a guy called Ronan the Accuser. He's played by Lee Pace. He's a good bad guy. He's pretty powerful, but all in all, he probably could be done a bit better. I felt while we were learning about a lot of the characters, the main characters who are the actual Guardians, you really get a sense of their background. You get a sense of who they are, what they stand for, what it is that they want. You really come to empathise with those characters. I didn't feel you got that from, Ronan the Accuser. I felt he was a bit of a one-dimensional bad guy. He was a little bit sort of all-powerful, all-knowing. You never really got into his backstory, and that was kind of one downside I found with this film. but it's really kind of nitpicking at that point. I mean, it's an absolutely fantastic movie. It's so funny. One thing I have to mention in relation to this movie is the soundtrack. I have bought it. It's actually, I found out earlier on this week that it's actually the #1 album on iTunes, I think, in the States. It's #2 in the UK at the moment. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Volume 1. And there's some really sort of crazy sort of 70s and 80s tunes on there. There's stuff from the Jacksons, the Runaways, Blue Swede, you know, from the trailer. The music is absolutely amazing, and it adds such character to the movie, and it adds such comedy moments as well. You've got to go and see Guardians of the Galaxy. I've seen it twice. I will go and see it again. I absolutely adored this movie. It is my favourite movie of the year so far. There's nothing about this movie that I would really, you know, really kind of say is a downside. I did say about Ronan the Accuser, but to be perfectly honest with you, it's a very small thing in an absolutely stunning movie. Really, really enjoyed this so much. Had a great time at it. And all the people sort of in the audience I was with did. There was a lot of chuckling, a lot of laughing. So I said one of the fun things about this movie as well is, and it will improve on repeat viewing, is all of the little in-jokes and in-references. For example, did you know that Nathan Fillion is actually one of the guards in the prison scene? I didn't. I looked this up afterwards, and it's absolutely fantastic. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I love Nathan Fillion, and anything with Nathan Fillion in it is immediately improved 50% at the very least. So Guardians was running at 100, so it's running on 150% now. This is such a fantastic movie. Peter Quill's spaceship is called the Milano, and apparently it's called the Milano because in the 1980s, before he was abducted, he has a huge crush on Alyssa Milano, who's the Boss with Tony Danza. All of that kind of stuff adds to the really fun, kind of drawing you in kind of nature of the movie. You will love these characters. Rocket Raccoon really steals the show, but Groot is the heart of the movie. Towards the end of this movie, maybe since Zoolander, I've seen the best dance-off that I have seen in any movie. It is so funny. People will know what I'm talking about. What are you doing? What are you doing? People know what I'm talking about. It's absolutely brilliant and totally worth, you know, every penny you're going to spend on this. Get this. Get the soundtrack. Get the Blu-ray when it comes out. You know, get the collector's edition Blu-ray. I don't care. You're going to love the movie. I'm giving the movie 9 out of 10. Maybe I'll mark it down a little bit for Ronan the Accuser and the bad guys. But I mean, in terms of, I suppose, kind of, you know, being emotionally drawn into the characters, loving their backstories, the comedy is hilarious, the action is fantastic, the characters are drawn with such love. Rocket Raccoon is amazing, Groot is fantastic, Peter Quill as Star-Lord. Man, the guy is sort of like, it's a mix of, you know, Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly and Han Solo from Star Wars and every other cool person, Indiana Jones, everything you can think of that's cool. And this is a nerd's wet dream. It's a fantastic movie. Go see it now. Turn off this, well, before you actually turn off this video, subscribe down below. But after that, go and see the movie. And then go and see it again. And maybe again after that.